I think Western civilization, Western culture, and at its apex, American civilization and American culture are the most advanced yet developed on the face of planet through human civilization. That does not make it perfect. It's flawed. And there are things to learn from other cultures. I think a lot after watching Shogun, by the way, about Japanese culture and an honor based society and the values of an honor based society versus radical individualism and freedom um, through capitalism as a market that we have venerated in the West. But I still think there's no better culture than specifically America. It's risk tolerant, it's made up of pioneers and entrepreneurs, of wildcatters that dig holes, literally dig holes in the ground seeking their fortune, people that pushed west, risking scalping to seek a better life. And I think that's been bred into us and passed down by generations to people that now start companies and take on risks. For Vivek to suggest that, there's some other culture somewhere in the other world is doing it better and we need to emulate them, maybe there's things to learn, but he indicted it way too broadly. And then there's this guy in New Orleans. I'm tying these three stories together. This guy in New Orleans who clearly, Islamic fundamentalist. He's carrying an ISIS flag. And then finally, back to the UK story. The reason that these gang rape, grooming gangs have been allowed to go on is that the authorities, police, and politicians and media, this has been written about. They wanted to preserve the image of the value of a multicultural society over the reality and truth of a multicultural society. And therefore, in the name of quote unquote community relations, not only did they suppress what was happening, but they arrested the fathers who tried to do something about what was happening. And so my point in the end of what ties these three things together is, and this is all worthy of deeper discussion, will continue, is there is such thing as culture. Not all cultures are of equal value. Our culture is specifically definable. And our culture here in America is unique and not only should be venerated, honored, but should be preserved. If you act like you're full of original sin or that you have no culture or that diversity is your strength, then you'll water your culture down to a point where you're looking around going, the only thing that's good about us is there's a lot of us of different kinds, and therefore we have to preserve cohesion and overlook the rape of children. That's where the UK is at this point. And so over the next 4 years, as we look at the victories, and the victories are today when you see Justin Trudeau resigning. I mean, a speech authoritarian with a mop haircut and a smile, resigning. There's victories everywhere. As Donald Trump is certified as the next president of the United States, as they get to work on an agenda together, Mike Johnson is speaking today about an omnibus bill, which I'm super skeptical of, but it's supposedly in coordination with Trump to do everything, border and everything else in one big swoop. I'm just here to tell you, short-term partisan victories will fail us if we don't understand the deep cultural preservation that we have to make a part of this victory. Otherwise, we end up in a place where we are the same culture as Mexico or Pakistan or whatever. We have to preserve America.